Royce Laurie, and welcome to Cool Folks Who Love to Bachata. Wow, I wanted to let people know that I'm using their photo to do my production. Anyway, hello everyone. Welcome to the summer version of Cool Folks Who Love the Bachata, live with members of Cool Folks from all over the planet. This summer, members of Cool Folks have the opportunity to speak about their events, tell you guys a little bit more about them, their career journey, advice they have for children, suggestions they have for organizers, and much, much, much more. I decided 3 years ago to create a unique Facebook. I wanted to create a platform that can unite the world's greatest bachata artists from all over the world as one big family, right? I came up with some scenarios while I lived in Texas. Number one, cool man who loves the bachata. Now, then a lot of ladies are coming up to me and say, what about us? Okay. Scenario number two, cool women who love the bachata. Social media got on my back and said I'm being biased. So I said, cool people who love the bachata. I felt so old. People? Something unique. Cool folks who love to bachata. There we go. So 3 years ago, that was my vision, and my vision continues up to this day. Guys, I am honored for the world this summer and beyond. We started this program right at the beginning of this year. It was so successful, social media asked me if I can continue it into the summer, and then we're going to pick this up in the fall. So yes, so I'm happy to be doing this. So thank you guys, thank you Facebook, thank you social media, thank you members of Cool Folks Who Love the Bachata for having me do this. Okay, this week we have interviews. We have interviews with Allison Liu, We have interview with Ricky Jenkins, Ellen Gates, Brandy Brennan, and my boy Kelvin. But tonight, we're going to meet fitness and health expert Tino Cruz. Tino's going to come on live in a few minutes to give some advice to the dance world and how to better stay in shape. Before I bring Tino out, I am blessed to have Jorge Charun to come live with us in Miami. 3 years ago, for the first time at his Bachatiendo festival when I lived in Miami. You know, it's kind of funny, guys. Uh, Before I actually met this guy, I attended his event and I didn't even know who he was. I never took the opportunity to check out his profile or check out his picture. I know he just emailed me. He's like, Roswell, you're in town. You can come to my event, blah, blah, blah. I showed up at Bachatiendo. I'm asking everyone, hey, where's Mr. Sharoon? Do you guys know where he is? Where? And before you know it, he was standing right in front of me, like literally, like throughout the entire event. The day after the event, I decided by chance, let me look him up, and I'm like, oh my God, I know that guy. That's Mr. Sharon. And the rest was history. He's a great guy. He's very, very, very loyal. He's loyal to his friends, his colleagues, and his family. And I have he kept, today we were supposed to start like a half an hour earlier. Being that I'm not too smart with IT, I had some technical difficulties on my end, so I apologize for first, starting out late. But being the man that he is, he's like, Roswell, that's fine, just let's do it. So he's a very, very, nice guy, and I'm honored that he's part of Cool Folks, and I'm very super honored that he's going to go live with us. Mr. Sharon is the CEO of the Miami Salsa Scene. He's also the CEO of Bachatiendo Miami Dance Festival. He's having the Miami Salsa Congress July 19th to the 24th. And we're going to talk about those three topics in a minute. But before I bring Mr. Sharoon on, I just have a couple quick announcements. Okay. In August, our friend Lee has offered every member from Cool Folks Who Love the Bachata discounts for going to the DCBX event in August. So if you guys have not purchased your tickets, I still have the code if you want to use for discounts into the event. So Lee, thank you so much for offering that generous discount for each and every member. I am forever grateful. A couple other events that are coming up this August are my good friends Central Movement are having their weekender event the first weekend in August here in New York City. And big stars are going to be there. Most of my friends, actually all of my friends are going to be there. So I will be there. So if you guys are in New York City, please, come on down. Okay. If you guys are in New Jersey, Jonathan Amayo is having his weekender event that same weekend in New Jersey. If you guys are down south, Wendy and Rodrigo having their event in Charlotte. Our good friends in the month of August, Melody, Miguel, they're having their Rasa event in Arkansas. And obviously, the Denver Bachata Festival is happening. So a lot of stuff is happening in August. So you guys come on out, show your support, and let's have fun. Okay, enough talking. All right, Mr. Sharoon, okay, I'm going to bring you on, bro. So please say hello to everyone.
How is everybody doing, guys? Thank you so much, Roswell. I really appreciate you bringing me on. Your show, obviously, you have a huge following with your page that you started and your social media efforts. You've been an amazing contributor to our scene. So I am very happy to be here. It's been a really, really busy month. We just finished Bachatiano not too long ago, and now we're gearing up for Miami Salsa Congress. So I definitely wanted to take the time to talk to you and the people that follow your page as well, and contribute to the scene in any way I can.
First of all, I got to ask you a question.
Okay.
Tell me about that nice hat you have on. I see the red and so let's see. Oh wow, is that a panther?
It's a panther. One of my good friends and business partner, Omar, Borjas. We have a music studio in Peru, and he's a hat collector. So he got me a
Mhm.
different hat, which I love, and I'm like, "Where you get this?" He's like, "This is the store." So I started buying them up. Now I have like 10 of them, and I'm just getting started. So I really like the design, the colors. It kind of like complement outfits.
Mm.
So I kind of like it, and I live in Miami, sunny all the time, so it makes sense for me.
I'm gonna give you a picture of me after we're done, and I want you to give it to Omar so he can put the
There you
picture of me on the hat. So
go.
that would
Yeah,
be awesome, man. Imagine like walking around Miami with
for
my
sure.
face
No,
on
I
it.
mean you
Like,
have a good face for a hat, man. Some people can't pull it off, but you have the great, you have the perfect shape, for a hat. So for sure.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, sir, you're originally from Peru, right? You're born and raised in Peru.
Yeah, born and raised in Peru.
Okay.
Lived
Okay.
there, grew up there until I was 19 when I moved to the States. So been here for a couple years now.
Okay. Great. 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 And I think you were. I know when we were talking a while back. You were in New York, right? Just like me. You used to
Yeah,
work
when
in
I
New York.
when I moved to the States, I settled in the Northern Virginia
Mm,
area, Herndon, Virginia, near the Washington D.C. area. So
mm,
the DMV area. I spent about 12 years there. Knew the
mm.
scene, amazing scene there for a long time, and then I started chasing the nicer weather. Moved to Miami, and then out of the blue, an opportunity presented itself to move to New York. So I did that. Uh, Went to New York for a couple of years, and then Miami kept calling my name, so I moved back to Miami, and I've been here since.
I missed the weather in Miami. I think when I first met you, it was like I think it was it like 3 years ago, going on to four. I was in New York doing the COVID stuff, and doing that COVID
Right.
stuff, everything was shut down and
Yeah.
people were isolated. So I just, I said I can't take this crap anymore. I can't talk to people, I can't dance. I just packed up, decided to drive on down to Miami for the first time. I didn't know where I was going. I just did Airbnb. I said I'll find a job and whatever. I didn't even know they were dancing in Miami. And then I found you guys and all your friends and everyone was like, Russell, come here, come there, come here. And before you know it, I stayed in Miami for a while. So I missed not only the warm weather, Mr. Sherwin, but I missed the hospitality. Everyone in Miami, and not only the people in the dance scene, everyone, they were very nice to me. Everyone was very like, if you need any advice or anything or places to go or places to stay or it was I'm not used to that because I come from up here like a city boy. People don't really they don't I mean, they give advice and suggestions, and if they see you
Yeah.
struggle, they're like whatever. But Miami and stuff, and I didn't expect that because I thought Miami back in the days everything was like rush here, rush there. But to make a long story short, I missed the weather, yes, the warm weather, but I also missed the people. I missed that, and I made a lot of friends. Your friends, and your friends' friends, and friends' friends. So that's what I miss. In addition to the hot weather, you
Yeah,
know.
there's a lot of good people here in Miami. A lot of people that will welcome you with open arms and will literally take their shirt off their back, especially to new people in the scene. We want to always welcome new people to the scene, continue to grow our scene, continue to nurture what we like to do, which is dancing, be around music, be around bachata, be around salsa, kizomba, whatever it is, whatever type of dancer you are, we're going to find a way to get you connected with the right people so you can become part of the big Miami salsa scene that we have here. So, for sure.
That's good. I'm happy you said that. And the reason I ask you, like, where you originally started from or your heritage is because you're entitled to answer this question. I mean, you were in Peru, but then again, you came to the U.S. and then you traveled here, you traveled there, D.C., Miami. You see New York. You've seen it all. So my question to you, Mr. Sharoon, is how has the dance world evolved and grown? Like, look at specifically bachata. Like, compared to like, I remember like 10 years ago, I'd be honest with you, about 10 years ago, I didn't even know what bachata was or stuff. I was so much into like the American culture and stuff. And I now everywhere I go, like bachata is like the big thing, you know. So, but for you, you're a witness. You've seen it evolve. You've seen it grow. You've helped it grow. So, I mean, can you let us know like what's your view and how do you feel that that you know how the bachata era is growing?
The
Like,
the growth
how do you
that I
feel it?
have seen with bachata is impressive. It's beyond impressive because a lot of people don't know the history of bachata. They just listen to the music and they love it, but they haven't taken the time to learn more about it. But bachata started out as the kind of music that in Dominican Republic only basically the low class, very poor people would listen to. So anybody else that wasn't that, which
Mhm.
was a big part of the population of Dominican Republic, said, "Hey, you don't listen to that. You didn't want your kids listening to that because that's what people that what got drunk would listen to. It was very, sad music about, my wife left me for my best friend kind of stuff." So it wasn't. You only heard that in bars and in brothels and stuff like that, which is crazy because when you think about it, you're like, they used to listen to Romeo. Well, back then there was no Romeo. Romeo wasn't even born, probably. So what happened with bachata is it started to become a little more and more extreme. And then one day, a guy by the name of Juan Luis Guerra came up with this very popular commercial style album, you know. Um, and then his music kind of like put bachata on the map. But then it wasn't until Aventura came on that it really exploded. And Aventura is basically a bunch of Dominican young kids that were in high school that got together, they had a band, and then they decided to make it more sexy, more urban, more to the younger generation. Once they captured the younger generation, that's when bachata really took off because he made it into the radio, and then the concerts were huge, and then other young bachata artists came out, like the Prince Royces, like the Leslie Grace, and then they kind of like respected a lot of the work that the original guys had put on, the Anthony Santos, the Toritos, all of those guys, the Joe Vedas, all of those guys that put on the traditional bachata, and they created more of an urban vibe, kind of like something that happened very similar to what happened to salsa back in the day. So I don't know if some people know the history, but that's kind of like the way bachata evolved. So it's amazing to see how it's made it from being bars and brothels to now is like there's congresses and festivals all over the world every single weekend dedicated to the genre of bachata. You know, so it's beautiful to see that.
Yeah, that's great that you said that. Because I mean, you witnessed this. You witnessed how all of that stuff. Like before there was Aventura. Like so. What I want to know is that what I'm curious about. Like I just got into the bachata scene like maybe under 7 years, so I'm still kind of like fairly new. So I just thought in my head, like a dance is a dance. Like salsa is salsa, mambo is mambo, bachata is bachata. Like you just said, like urban and there's different styles of bachata now. You got urban, you have central, you have all of that stuff. So I'm just kind of curious, like how how did that became like how did it just like branch off into different sections? Like how I mean, is it something that was planned or is it something that you think because I don't know the younger generation or the new generation they want to see something new, something creative. I mean, how did the various forms of bachata dancing, you know, branched out into like various, different types of section? Like how, I mean, is it, is
Well,
it,
my theory on that is that, like, very similar to what salsa
mm,
did. Because remember, salsa was hardcore, hard hitting salsa forever. Very big band sound, funny, a lot of brass, a lot of percussion. And then there was an era, let's say very late 70s, early 80s, where salsa started going into, instead of talking about, singing about, I'm going to the store, and they made a story about everything. It went from that to now singing about love and about heartbreak and about,
mm,
you know, just basically declaring your love for somebody else. So that That became the salsa romantica era. So all it takes is an idea, somebody put it into the idea to action, and then the public, the consumer, embracing that. You know, reggaeton didn't exist 20 plus years ago or 30 years ago. It didn't exist, and now it's probably the biggest genre, in my opinion, even bigger than bachata right now. And 30 years ago, it didn't exist. You know, somebody took reggae, regular reggae from Jamaica, and they put a different beat to it, and then they started singing in Spanish, and then even that evolved. You know, so even reggaeton is gone revolution. I think the longer a genre is around, in order to keep people interested, they keep fusing little different things with it to make it more interesting, and people doesn't get bored and tired of it. People don't get bored and tired of it. So yeah, I think that just one person says, "Hey, what if we do this to this particular genre?" and then it spins off, you know, into something else.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I asked that question because I'm still trying to, I'm trying to learn a little bit of everything, and Central I still got to work on. I mean, as you know, I'm a little shy with girls dancing on the floor, so I got to work on my Central move when I come back to Miami. But urban, yeah, but Central, you got to help me with that part, bro.
Oh, there's a whole lot of people that have embraced the essential the style of dancing, and they like the music, and they prefer the slower pace better, you know, than the traditional. There's people like me that I like all of it. You know, I started with traditional because I listened to traditional most. That's the only thing that was around back then. Then Romeo came out, and then when Romeo got big, that's when the urban sound started, and I liked it. You know, I'm like, oh, this is actually talking to me. And then as time progressed, the essential came on, and I'm like, I kind of like some of these remixes. This is kind of cool, you know, because you take a song that's popular in English, even a reggaeton, and then you can put a bachata beat to it and make it sexy. And you're like, and I already know the words to it. What? I mean, what else are you gonna ask for, you know? So bachata has a
Right.
lot to offer for anybody that loves music. So that's one of the really exciting things about it.
Wow, yeah. I mean, this past Friday, I went to a an event, and I was doing. I don't know. I kept doing my own little stuff. I was doing like little Central, little Urban, little Roswell, little everything. So this girl, when I was dancing with her, after I done, doing all the stuff with her, giving her a headache, and then she's like, something, I really don't know. Did you not tell me this before? I made you go crazy on the dance floor because I'm doing. I just have this tendency to expect that the person that I'm dancing with, she knows, she knows Central, she knows Urban, and I felt so bad. I felt like crying. I feel like putting myself in jail because I felt like, how could I be so stupid? I should have, kept into the back of my head, that not everyone, is thinking the way that I am. Not everyone knows there's different levels and blah. And me, I'm mixing everything up, all the bachata moves, on her, and then she's like, oh, that's well, we got to do this again, but just give me like a minute to breathe. I'm like, sure, but yeah, I need to like really, and most of us, when we go to these socials, we need to keep in mind that not every bachata social or every song is the same. We have to be a little bit more professional, be a little bit more mindful that it's up to date with that type of that type of style, and we need to keep that in mind. Especially the gentleman, because that's about respect, Mr. Sharoon. It's not just like going with a girl, dancing with her, and you look good on the dance floor. It's that, but letting her know that, okay, are you okay with this? You know,
Yeah.
instead of just, come on, let's do it. Let's just look good.
Oh yeah.
So it's a matter of respect. I just want everyone to know that. I'm sorry, you go first, guys.
No, I was gonna say, I think dance etiquette is something that we definitely need to practice, and it needs to be taught more in classes. I think a lot of instructors need to be talking to the students constantly about dance etiquette, and you know, what's okay to do and not okay to do. There's somebody saying, "What's up? What's up, guys? Hey, what's going on? How's it going?"
What's up, guys? I'm with Mr. Sharon. I can't believe I had to get dressed up for this. I can't believe this. This is Mr. Sharon. This is not, Mr. Sharon. Yeah, we waited. I waited for a lifetime for
You
this.
look great. You
No.
you look great. Now I feel bad because I had to make a quick run to the mall because as you know, the Miami Salsa Congress is this week, and I'm like, you know what? I want to get some nice fresh looks. So I went to the mall, spent a couple hours there. I was happy with what I found. So you will see this weekend, you know. So I'm excited. I'm excited about the fits that I found.
Bro, you are a okay. Now this week a lot of stuff is going on, and this is another reason I wanted to thank you for going live with me. Like guy, you keep your promise. You're very loyal, even though you have a lot going on. The Miami Salsa Congress is here. You still manage to go live with me. So let me ask you a weird question. Being that I'm not an organizer, I'm just kind of curious. When you plan something like that, that's not just that's not like an overnight thing or a 1 day thing. That's like the Miami Salsa Congress. So it's not only like salsa but bachata and everything, and you have to put your marketing stuff in advance. You have to get your guests here from like overseas and all over the world. The hotel got to be set. The platforms got to be prepared. The DJ, it's a lot of preparation, sir. And that's one thing I respect about you and every organizer that I meet, because you guys, know about time management. You guys are very dedicated. You guys, no matter if it's rain or shine or rain, it has to happen. You know what I'm saying?
We have people coming
So,
from all
so
over.
how much yeah, so how much time and effort, I know it's a weird question I'm asking you, but how much time and effort has been dedicated to make the July 19th to the 24th event possible?
Um, we've been putting in work for the last 8 months in preparation to this event. And it starts a little bit lighter, but it seems lighter now because when you do it every year, you can already have uh,
Mhm.
certain automatations in place where you have a team that you can activate and you can get somebody to get going with something. You kind of like become more of the quarterback rather than the running back. You're no longer grabbing the football and running with it. You're more like the quarterback. You start distributing and making sure every player is playing their role. So I'm very fortunate to have a team in place that is very knowledgeable and very helpful, and um, they are very, very capable. So I want to say, I hate to brag, but I want to say we probably have the best team in the industry.
Okay, okay.
I have Renee Gates working with me. I have Marilena Martinez. I have an amazing media team. I don't know if you've seen the social media and the promo for Miami Salsa Congress and Bachatiando. And we always get a lot of compliments on the graphics and the promo. So it just makes my life a lot easier. But it is a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of money, but it gives me a lot of joy to know that we can provide a quality event with quality artists and a lineup that is really hard to match, and we can bring them to the states. A lot of them are already here, and a lot of them will bring from overseas, and it's not just one or two artists. It's literally a large lineup of big names that we bring here for our community to enjoy and learn from and be around, and it really elevates their dancing, their way of thinking. They get a chance to sit them down and pick their brain and take not only their dancing to the next level, but if you're an instructor, you start you learn from them, you start to think like them, and it's a very contagious situation where you can take whatever your business is around dancing to the next level.
Okay, that's interesting. You know what I'm thinking in my head is that, this COVID stuff has made things a little bit more challenging for everyone. Not only for dancers, but organizers as well. Like, especially like in, let's say you have most of the guests are from, I don't know, from Europe or Spain or Australia or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I think COVID restrictions are kind of over. I think things are settled down now. But I'm just curious, how has the COVID pandemic made things a little bit more challenging for not just talking about, like these people can't come, over here because of the sickness, but what if, I mean, are there like custom codes? Are there like certain things that they need to follow? Or are there certain, like legal restrictions? I mean, do they still need to have proof that they're vaccinated or what? Or what happens if the night before you get a phone call, Mr. Sharon, from Spain or Australia or Japan or whatever, saying, "Guess what, bro? Not working out. I can't miss a flight or whatever." But what do you? This is what makes an organizer, man. What do you do when stuff, the unexpected happen? How do you
Well,
manage that? How do you manage that?
what one of my personal policies in dealing with small fires or emergencies or things that are unexpected to either something that has to do with the organizational end of the Congress or that has to do with the attendee. You just kind of have to, you know, put yourself in their shoes, listen to what they're saying to you, and
Mhm.
then just kind of like remain calm and try to make a decision that makes sense. Something that will, because at the end of the day, it's not just about money. These people being loyal to you by coming to your Congress every year after year. A lot of them come every year, and things will happen. And they show if they have shown you your support by wanting to come to the event and they have a valid reason why they can't come, then there's definitely something that you need to take into consideration when making a decision on what you're going to do. Of course, we have like no refund policies and things like that. We have like a ticket policy we're very strict with, but for the most part, we give people a lot of opportunities to arrange for the tickets to be transfers or things like that in case they can't make it or they have an emergency. If it's really really close to the event, then we look at it on a case by case basis. But usually we're very accommodating.
Okay, that's great to know. I guess I asked that weird question because I work in the legal field. I know, like with contracts, like if one of my clients break a contract or something, that's it. Going to jail for the night. So you're very, I don't mind. I don't mind doing a one of those like professional relationship stuff. At your event. I just got to know what I'm doing because I don't know. I don't think I could maybe open the door for the guest or give everyone like water or something. I don't know about me performing or entertaining people or workshop. I'm not there yet, but maybe I could open the door for everyone. Is that okay?
We can see it to good use.
I'm a good door opener. Yeah. Okay. So how about this, my friend? You are the CEO. Okay. Not only of the Miami salsa scene, but you're the CEO, man, of the Bachateando Miami Dance Festival. You're not the manager. You're not the you're the CEO. I know CEO is just a job. That's not like a 9 to 5 job. That's a 9 to whenever you get home job. I mean, you have a family. I mean, you have a child. You have a friend. I mean, you have. So how do you? Again, maybe it's a time management question. I guess I'm asking. How do you manage to hold those titles? You know what I'm saying? Like how? I mean, that's a great responsibility, man. So
Thank you again. It comes again to the team. You have a good team that you're surrounded by. They do a lot of the heavy lifting for you, and you just have to be a good leader and make good decisions. And when you make good decisions, the outcome is always good usually. So um, luckily, also the congresses and festivals that we host as Miami Salsa Scene, excuse me, Miami Salsa Congress and Bachateando are seasonal. So we usually do them after we host them. We still have a lot of things to take care of in order to close the Congress and close the books. But once the books are closed for the year, we're able to relax a little bit and enjoy some peace and quiet for a couple months, and then it starts all over again. People are like, "What about next year dates? I want to buy tickets." So I need a hotel room. Can I book my hotel already? So it starts again, but you get used to it. You get used to it, and then you have a team. You have somebody that takes care of your website. You have somebody that takes care of your social media. You just kind of like start quarterbacking again. You're like, okay, let me grab that football, and start, throwing some touchdown passes. I enjoy it. I really like it. I think when you give your community something that is viewed as something of high quality, uh, people appreciate it. It doesn't go unnoticed, which is rewarding enough for me, and that's why we get a lot of support. Both of the festivals that we host, luckily, are probably two of the largest ones in the United States, which is really really nice to see. That means that we're doing um, good work, and people appreciate what we're doing for them. They're showing us by coming, attending the event, supporting what we do. So that's great. That's really good. That's
Yeah,
why I go. People talk about events, so which is nice. I go somewhere else. They're like, "Oh, you're from Miami, okay? Yeah, there's Bachatiano, Miami Congress," and I'm like, "Yeah," which is great. I went to Croatia one year, and somebody had the Bachatiano shirt in Croatia, which is really nice to see. All the way across the world in Croatia, and they had it. So that was like, okay, that's really nice. It's nice to see that.
yeah. I think listening to you talk, bro, is like it's so peaceful. Like I mean, I'm thinking about what my mom told me back in the days. Like many, 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 many years ago. I got my first job. I got my first job, Mr. Charun, at ABC Television in New York, like 20 something years ago,
Nice.
right? And I majored in this is so sad. I majored in psychology when I was in college. Never had a journalism course, public speaking course. I was super shy, super super shy. I was afraid to even say hello to anyone. And there I am, working at ABC Television studio as my first job. The cameras are right there, the celebrities are in front of me, the directors are. And I said, oh God, how did this happen? To get a job there, you have to be journalism major, know somebody in the business. Me, I don't know anyone. I'm super shy. My family, they only know people from the bakery. They don't know big shot people. We were like this small little family. So, and I remember my dad was totally against it. Before my dad got Alzheimer's, you know, my dad used to be like, "Son, I don't want you to suffer like me when I was young. You know, you're gonna go to college whether you like it or not. You're gonna get a master's, do a PhD stuff. I don't want to hear about acting and dancing and all that BS. All right, or you're. So I said to myself, but I
Yeah.
want to do it. What? No, you're not. So my mom whispered to me, and she told me, the reason your dad is so upset is because there's a lot of competition in that business, son. You have to have money, you have to have fame, you have to, back. So, and I didn't have any of that. All I had was my jerry curls and my, you know, fluffy, weird face. And when I said, Mom, I don't know if I can survive, she said, Son, the secret is be yourself. Don't try to be something you're not. Don't look like somebody you're not. Just if you want to comb your hair like this, fine. You want to wear like clothes that don't match, fine. If you just be yourself, because when you are yourself, son, people will see that and they will respect you more and they will come to you. You don't have to go to them; they'll come to you, right, Mr. Sharon? So
That's
I
great.
kept that in mind up to this day, and here I am. Cool folks love the bachata, and in the social media. But my point of the story is that, and it's kind of relevant to what you just said. Even though you do all of those stuff, you're running here, running there, get in the plane, get in the hotel, making everyone happy and whatever. Mr. Sheeran, I think it's your character that draws people to you. Okay, just like me. When I was in television and stuff, I didn't know anything about a script. I didn't know what to say, but people saw in me that I'm cool. I'm just Roswell. I'm not pretending to be DJ Rod or hip hop Rod or live red Rod. I'm just Roswell. And I think when they saw that, especially in New York, when they saw that I'm just being me, they're like, okay, we'll work with you. We'll work with you because you're true. So people began coming to me, calling me, saying, "You want to work here? You want to work in, you want to work at MTV? You want to work at GQ magazine? You want to try,
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, sure. Why not? What do I got to lose? You know?"
Yeah.
So I think
Nice.
with you, the reason I'm sharing this with you is because you kind of remind me of my path, what you
Oh,
just said, because you're telling me, I asked you the question like, what if the, unexpected happened? How do you deal with it? And you, you answered that question by just saying you be yourself, you deal with it the best. I think that's what makes an organizer. They can go to organizing, they can major in organizing 101 in school, get a master's at whatever in organizing 101. They still don't know how to handle disaster or the unexpected when it happens. But when you're you, they'll come back to you. They'll want to come up to you and say, I'm going to do another contract with you, Mr. Charun. We're going to come back, COVID or no COVID, money or no money. You're cool. So I just wanted to share that for the record. My point, everyone, what I'm trying to say is that, especially for the children, when you are you guys, okay, then there's no competition. Yes, you have to be a certain look, you have to be a certain style, you have to talk, you have to know what a script is, a monologue, you have to take dance class. But when you are you, things are so much easier in life, in the media and the social media and stuff. So that's all I wanted to say, So Mr. Sharon, I didn't mean to take this interview in a different direction. It's just that based upon what you said, I was just thinking about, my journey and how, how being me helps me to be me here right now.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I think that sharing a little bit of who we are and why we are the way we are with the listeners is important because that's how people relate to you and they know that they're doing things the right way, or maybe they need to work a little bit on something. We all need something to work on. That's why I read a lot of books. I always try to be a better man, a better partner, um, for my girl. I try to be a better dancer. I try to be a better friend. I try to be a better promoter. I'm always working on doing what I do, try to do it better, not just for my benefit, but for the benefit of the community. And I know it sounds a lot of cliche because a lot of people talk about the community, but you know, you have to look at what, if you can look behind you and you see that you have built a lot in the years that you've been part of the community, then that's how you know that you've been doing things right. You know. So I've been trying my best since I moved here from New York 15 years ago to build the community in Miami. Little by little, brick by brick, welcome a lot of the new people. Stay away from drama. Just do things the right way. Be loyal. Don't stab people in the back. Pay everybody on time. Take care of people as they take care of you. Welcome everybody into the scene, not just the cool kids, not just the good-looking people, not just what I'm saying.
Mhm.
It's a family. It should be a family. It should be a place where we all come to enjoy the same thing. We have something in common that we enjoy, which is dance. And it's crazy because a lot of people go to these networking meetings and they fly across the country to go to this conference and whatever. When we have our community of dancers, that's the biggest networking place that you can find, really. And for the most part, as far as I understand, it's basically free. A lot of the
Yeah.
parties are free. A lot of hanging out is free. You never know. You may be dancing with like the best lawyer in the country, and you're dancing with that person. Or you may be, dancing with an athlete or a doctor that could probably help your child with that uh, illness that nobody's been able to figure out what's wrong with her. I mean, you never know. It's just be kind to everybody in the scene. Don't take advantage of people. Don't go in the scene for the wrong reasons. A lot of people go in there because they want to meet people and they want to date and they want to dance with hot chicks, but they should be able to see way beyond that. The people that come into the scene with those intentions only, eventually they get filtered out because that's not what we're about. It's great if you meet somebody great in the scene. We all want to meet cool people and make new friends and maybe find somebody cool to spend time with. But we should always look at the big picture. That everybody's there for the same. Nobody owns the scene. It's a shared space, and we should be kind to each other in the scene for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Kind to one another. Yeah, definitely. It makes me think that, this is a good time to ask you my famous Roswell question about support,
Uh-huh.
right? All this kindness. Let's look at all this kindness, hope. Okay. So, okay, it's a Saturday night, bro. Okay. So you have like uh, five amigos. Okay.
Yeah.
Eduardo,
Hmm.
Juanita, me. Okay. Five amigos. Okay. Famous. Famous, right? They've known each other for a long time, good friends. They live in a major city, okay? And they also live within 5 miles radius of one another,
Hmm.
right? They decide COVID is over now and whatever. They decide to have each one of them going to have their big event, right? When I mean big, bro. Bigger than the Miami Salsa Congress or whatever. They spend thousands of dollars contracts and, legal stuff and people all overseas. Then I get a phone call. Maybe Rashid or John. Roswell, you're going to come to my event, right? Yeah. Mary called. Roswell, don't forget. Okay. Tells me, Ross, I heard you're in town. Bro, you got to show. Okay. Not only do they do that to me, they do that to everyone else. So my point is that, okay, how can these five amigos like better have handled this situation? Or let's say, for themselves, leave have an event the next day, they count enough the dollars, right? And they're like, oh my God, I invested. They tell their wives or their children, oh my God, I invested so much money in this weekend night stuff, and only seven or eight, five people showed up, and that's it. And
It happens a lot.
five of them have the same issue. But then again, it happens again a year. I guess my point. I guess what I'm trying to say, Mr. Sharon, is that I don't. I don't know if it is what it is. That's part of the business, or maybe I don't know. But all I'm saying is there another way they could have united, or you know, avoid that happening? You know what I'm saying, man?
Absolutely, absolutely. There's different ways to handle that, but what a lot of people don't realize is like everybody wants to become a DJ, a promoter, or a salsa instructor, an open school dance instructor. Doesn't have to be salsa. They want to open a school, but a lot of people don't realize that it is a business or a job, just like any business or job out there. You need to first do the market research. Is there a need for another promoter? Is there a need for another party in your scene? Is there really a need for more instructors in your scene? So, um, if there's no need, then you shouldn't do it. I think because it's only going to make the scene weaker. It's actually going to weaken your scene instead of making it stronger. Because let's say if you live in a city and there's three parties, and each one of those three parties on Saturday night, there's 500 people in each one of them, and a lot of people are like, it's just these places are too small, we can't fit everybody, there's a lot of people can't even walk in the party, it's just too uncomfortable, then it makes sense. But if in that same city there's three parties on Saturday night and all three parties have 7 or 8 people or 10 people or 12 people, 14, but the parties are really weak and the scene is very small, then there's no need for another scene. So I think that the people doing the organizing should first look at it and say, is there really a need? You know, and if they feel like there's a need, then they should talk amongst each other and then try to figure out if they should combine forces and do it together, or maybe do it in different nights. You know, what I see a lot is like the people that own the school, the instructor wants to be the DJ, wants to be the promoter, and wants to host the party as well, but he wants to do it all, you know, and ends up being mediocre at all of it. If you want to be an instructor, be an instructor. You know, if you want to have a salsa school or a bachata school, then have a bachata school. If you want to be a promoter, be a promoter. I'm a promoter. I never get up and say I'm also going to teach the class, and I'm also, you know, I'm
Mhm.
also going to own the venue where I teach the class, where I'm a promoter as well, and I'm also a DJ. So there's only so much that you can do, but it's like, at least for me, what works for me is just better to stick to what I know. I love to DJ, and I have developed a follower, which automatically made me a promoter, right? Um, and I feel that I'm good at that, and I play to my strength, which is I'm good at that. That's what I'm gonna do. People ask me to be, hey, join our dance team. I'm like, I like social dancing, but I'm not. I don't see myself being this big instructor teaching around the world. I already found my calling, which is, DJing is what I love. I love to be in the DJ booth. I love to promote. I don't need to go past that. I let the teachers do their teaching because they're way better at it than I am. And I wouldn't want to, exactly for what? I mean, I'm already doing my part of the community, you know. I'm already, I think, influencing the community in a positive way by bringing in good music, by bringing in, good events, quality events. So the community should always be working together. Promoters should hire the schools to come in and teach other venues so the schools get more exposure. And when the schools get more exposure, they bring more students into the scene, new students, which in turn will feed the community with more parties. You know, some people just want to come in without doing any work whatsoever and reap the benefits of the hard work that other people have put in. Like, for example, just to close this up, sometimes a student is been taking classes at a big school for 6 months. They barely know the basics, or they know the basics and they know a couple term patterns, and now they want to open their own school without knowing anything about owning a school, without doing the market research, without learning a syllabus, without learning proper technique on how to teach, because they're doing it based out of ego and greed alone. So they opened their own school, and instead of going out to find new students to help the scene grow, they try to take the students from the school that they just came from. So that's the mentality I think that needs to change in the scene in order for the scene to grow and go to the next level. So,
But how can that change? Or like, what's the first? I mean, I know things don't happen overnight, man. I mean, I mean, like, how can that actually how can that actually begin? Like, you're in Miami, that's a good example. Like, how can, you help that not make it, but how can you help that to begin that process of change?
I think before starting or going into either teaching, becoming a promoter, becoming a DJ, first find out if there's a need for more DJs, more promoters in your scene. If there's a need, do it. If there's no need, then maybe you shouldn't do it. Um, if you really love to do it, then do your homework. If you want to be a DJ, then you have to get yourself enough music, enough music to be a DJ. You have to get yourself the right equipment, and then find out if you can actually develop a following and bring more people into the scene. Not just say, let me compete with this guy. Same with the school. Are you good enough that people want to learn from you? That not just the person that has no idea what dancing is, but talking about other people already know how to dance, so they look up to you as a dancer. Do you have good leadership skills? Do you know how to communicate with people? You know, um, do you have a lot of issues with people in the scene? If you don't have a lot of issues with people in the scene and you get along with everybody, then that's a good sign. If you have you have issues with a lot of people in the scene, maybe you're not the right person to be opening a salsa school. So those are the things that I think if we all took responsibility, for who we are, and we're honest with ourselves and look in the mirror when there's nobody around, you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, am I the right person to be leading a group of people? Because it's not just about dancing. You're leading a piece of our community. So if you're leading a piece of our community, then you need to have the right leadership skills. Yeah. Including you have to have the right reason why you want to do it. Not just for the ego, not just for the fame. You know. You should always be putting the scene first.
I agree with you. No, I'm smiling because you remind me of a professor from like college. Yeah, I mean, the way you teach, the way you talk is like I'm listening to you. I'm trying to like not listen to. I'm trying not to listen to you, but because you're so captivating when you talk. That's one thing about me. Like it takes a lot, to keep my attention. And when people talk, it's like you is like I can't even move away from you because it's so. What you're saying is like it makes beyond sense. It makes 101%, sense. So I think you should really, teach at a college or university or something. I'm serious. I'm just not saying that because we're live, but you should really consider, doing, more, because you will reach out to children. Okay, speaking of children, okay, and this is the last question, of the night. What are some advice you have for kids who would like to pursue the dance industry as a career?
Oh wow. Okay. I think the dance industry is a beautiful, beautiful industry in which you can express yourself, as children. You can interact with other children. You can learn to be a team player. I grew up around sports. My father was a professional athlete, and I played semi-pro soccer for years. So I really really enjoyed that. It helps you create discipline and structure in your life when you're part of a team, when you're part of something bigger than just you. And if you want to be a dancer, that means you're gonna have to put in a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of long hours practicing your craft. There's gonna be disappointment. There's gonna be triumph. There's gonna be you're gonna experience a lot of types of emotions, and that's gonna help you grow as an individual, be stronger, be tougher, uh, be better. It's going to teach you some leadership skills as well, which you can bring into the sing later on. So my advice is, if you love what you do, just don't give up, keep practicing, keep getting better, and always set goals. Always set goals. You know, short-term goals, goals, and long-term goals are very important to the development and growth of a young man or woman.
Forget being a teacher. You should just be a lawyer. You're so, bro. There's more to you than just like dance and music, bro. You have more talents than you know. Trust me. You have more talent. It's only now. My God. You see, this is the reason I wanted to bring you on live because there's more to you than
We're gonna
than
have to do this again sometime. Yeah, sure. There's a lot to talk about for sure.
yeah. I know you have to go and stuff. You have your family stuff to do. Um, I just want to say it was a pleasure having you on, and I mean that. I mean, I really, really, I mean, you're Mr. I always address you as Mr. Sharon. I
You keep
all and I
I
will
like
continue.
it. Kind of
I
like
will,
it.
I will continue that because you deserve the Mister. You know what I'm saying? You deserve it. What are some last minute words you want to say before we say goodbye? What-
Well, number one, I want to thank you and commend you for the amazing work that you've been doing
okay.
with your podcast, with your show. I seen some of the names of the people that you have interviewed, and I'm truly humbled by the invitation. I really appreciate it. Um, uh, cool folks who love bachata is one of the best names I've seen for a show and a group, and I really like how welcoming you have been since we have met. And I just want you to, I want to say that I'm proud of the work that you've been doing, and I want you to, to please keep up the good work. Continue to bring people that are influential in the scene to share their experiences. You never know when you might say something that is going to help somebody. You know, I also learn a lot from people that I talk to in the shows because I see how passionate you are. And when I come across people that are as passionate about the scene as I am, uh, it's really awesome to see, because a lot of people think that everything we do for money, and we don't. My first, I don't know, I DJ for free for I don't know how long when I first started because I just wanted to be around the music. Eventually I started getting paid because I'm like, okay, I got bills to pay, right? But I did it for free for a long time, and I just wanted to be around it. I wanted to be around it. I've always been a business person, and I eventually learned to monetize my time that was being invested into the scene because I was putting into a lot into the scene, and I wanted the scene to kind of like give back to me because I wanted to continue to stay in the scene and continue to grow. But I remember when we first started the Miami salsa scene, which is an MMA company in Miami. Now it's going to be 17 years soon. We only had one monthly social here in Miami, believe it or not, and one party a week, and that was about it. And now, just that's what we had in the scene in Miami. I had Miami salsa scene had nothing. But now, fast forward 17 years, Miami salsa scene alone is hosting 6 parties a week, every single week, plus 2 congresses. So the scene has definitely grown a lot. There's a lot of dancers here. There's other amazing promoters in our scene here pushing the card in the same direction, which is great. We get along. We have a good relationship. We should support each other. They come support the Miami Salsa Congress. They put it out on the social media. They show me love. I show them love back. So I hear a lot of drama in other scenes, and I commend. Um, I don't comment. I call on the other promoters in the other scenes around the country to try to work on their differences and try to, look for resolution for the better of the scene. For we want the scene to grow. My one thing that I've been saying for years, and some people may get it or may not get it. If you're an influential person in the scene, wherever you live, whether you own a school, you're a DJ, you're a promoter, you're an instructor, whatever that you are, what is going to be your legacy the day that you're gone? What are people going to say to you? What are people in the scene are going to say about you when you leave, when you're no longer with us? Are they going to say, wow, this guy did a lot for our scene? Or are they going to say, oh, this is the guy that created all the drama? This is the guy that separated the scene? This is the guy that caused all the bickering and fighting? Are you going to be part of the solution? Are you part of the solution, or are you part of the problem? So I just wanted to leave you with that. I hope that um, we get to do this again soon. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Bro, I can hug you right now. I'm not joking. No, your wife might be like, "What's going on?" No, but no, seriously, you deserve a Roswell hug. And you're a great guy. I mean, I'm just not saying that because we're live or whatever. But you know that. I know deep, deep, deep down inside. I think a lot of you, bro. Trust me. I think I
Thank you.
do. You know. Okay, so it was nice talking to you. And when I come back to Miami, hopefully after the summer, I'll come back, say hello to you, and just make sure you get a hat with my
I got
face. Okay, I'll be looking for. You know what size my
I'll
face
have a
is,
hat for
right?
you.
You see, you know what size it. I got a big hat.
I'll have a hat for you, Roswell. I appreciate it.
All right, bro. It was good talking to you. Okay, thank you so
Talking to
much.
you.
Okay.
Good luck. Much
Okay. Bye
success.
bye.
Take care. All
Bye
right.
bye.